Hello, everyone. Good evening. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes till the participants trickle in. But before we start, could you quickly confirm if I'm audible? You can do so by typing a yes in the chat box if you can hear me clearly. Once we get the go ahead, we can start with the session soon without any technical glitches. So if you can confirm, that'll be really helpful. I hope I'm audible. If you all can hear me, could you just type a yes in the chat box? All right, great. Thanks. I do see. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes and then we start. All right. Hello, everyone, once again, and we'll begin with the session. A very warm welcome and welcome to our masterclass. And today we will be covering the topic breaking into data science and the roles and career path in the age of AI. And today's session will be taken by our industry expert, Aniket Chabra. So if you are thinking about starting a career in data science and don't know where to start, and whether you're from a tech or a non-tech background, I think this webinar will give you at least the beginning steps or just an understanding of where to start. And before we continue with the session, I would like to give a quick introduction about our speaker. So Aniket here, he has over 13 plus years of experience in AI and ML and a deep understanding of GenAI products. And he brings a wealth of expertise in building intelligence and data-driven solutions. He has worked with companies like PayPal, Fidelity Investments, G Capital, and ESAPP. And he has worked at the intersection of finance, technology, and product innovation. His skill sets even encompass predictive modeling, machine learning, and deep learning algorithms. He holds an MA in economics from the Delhi School of Economics and is also an alumni of the PG program in data science. And so he'll be taking you through the topic today. Before I hand the session over to him, I'll just quickly take you through the flow. We have kept all of the attendees in a listen only mode. So if you have any questions, and please do keep it interactive, you can ask all of your questions by either typing it in the chat window or the Q&A tab, and we'll take it up throughout the presentation. With that, I'll hand over the session to Aniket.
Thank you, Smriti. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for taking out time on a weekday and joining the session. I hope my voice is loud and clear. You guys can hear me well. In case if not, please raise the voice in the chat. So, as Smriti mentioned, the agenda will be how we can make a career of data science in the current, age of AI, Gen AI, and data science, right? So, lots of things are going on, and how we should focus one, and then especially like where to focus is more important, right? So this session will be hopefully will be helpful for you to get this sense like what is exactly data science is, how you can make a career, what are the skill set required, how is the market currently looking like, and then how great learning can help you to achieve that path, you know, can be along with your journey of career transition, and how great learning can help you achieving the the transition here. So that's the that's the agenda of the session. So with that, let's get started. Let's start with a with a few basic stuff where we'll talk about like what is exactly data science from the point of view of a workflow, right? So if you look at the right hand side here, which is basically a requirement flow, right? So think of a data science project, like how does the project uh, flows how does the project flows with respect to data science. So whenever a data scientist starts working on something, what are the steps that he or she has to follow, right? So um, if you look at the step number one, it's called collection and acquisition. Before that, there is another step called problem statement understanding, right? That's actually a step zero or step one, maybe you can call it, which is to understand the business context about the problem that you're solving, right? So um, ultimately, we are solving a problem, right, with the help of data. So the first step is that you talk to your stakeholder, customers, and understand the problem. Then after that, once you understand the problem, you collect the required data related to the problem. Let's say, for example, you are doing a customer segmentation analysis. So in that customer segmentation, you have to collect the customer data. So that will become your step number two, where you're collecting and acquiring relevant data for the problem that you want to solve. Now, data is stored somewhere, right? So, which is typically in the databases, right? So you have now SQL databases, no SQL databases, both like, SQL, no SQL combined databases. So then what we do is we use SQL queries to fetch the data from the databases. That's a step number two, right? Where data is stored, you access the stored data from somewhere. Now, data is stored for general purpose in the sense that the data engineering team who is responsible for storing the data, they might have stored the data for their overall organization perspective, goals that we have. That might not be in the form which will be useful for you directly, which means that whenever you access the data, you might have to apply certain processes, cleaning the data or changing the form of the data, which will be helpful for you. For example, when we do analysis, lot of data, when we analyze, we have to aggregate, right? We have to apply aggregation functions on top of the data using Python and SQL. So that data you have to apply functions to get the aggregation of the data. Once you get the aggregation of the data comes in the form in which you want to analyze, right? That is a part of a cleaning process. Then data might lie or resides at multiple tables, multiple places, right? One database, second database, third database, like that. What you try to do is you try to access all of them, right? Database one, database two, three, so on and so forth, right? So then what happens is that you do a kind of join operation, merge operation on the data, on the data, right? And then once you have all the required data, that's a data collection process. Or once you complete the data collection process, then start the analysis process, which is the logic that you need to apply or the algorithms that you need to apply. If you are a modeler, which means if you are applying data science model, then here you have to you have to apply the model, the ML model, machine learning model. Or if you are doing just simple analysis, you have to use Python to do that analysis, right? To apply the logic that you have built for the analysis. So that is your analysis step. Um, then after that, now once you analyze the data, you have some insights, right? You got some insights from the data. Whether if you build the model, you have the scores, you have the predictions that you have made on the data. You actually now give a shape to that data, which is actually representable to for your customers, which means that you can actually represent this data in form of insights for your customers, right? So the best way to represent is that you can use some tools. For example, Tableau is one tool, which is a data visualization tool where you visualize the data, right? Similarly, some people work on slides, PPTs, right? They build that. Some people, if you have like, deeper analysis that you want to showcase, you might have to use sometime Excel also, right? So these are a couple of tools, or Python as well. So Python also, you can visualize the data, you can share insights. So which means that there are a lot of steps, a lot of tools are available for you to represent the data in a form where you can generate insights and then share with the customers. After that, once you um, uh, build insights, now you share with your data with your customers, you present it, and then customers take certain actions, right? So actions can be recommended by you based on the insights that you got from the data, or they can also have like take your data insights and plug in their own analysis if they are doing something, and use it for better insights. Right. So both are possible, depends on what kind of problem you're solving. But the ultimate goal is to solve the business problem, take action on the problem that you explained in the beginning to you, which completes the loop of your analysis. And that is a flow or a workflow of a project of data analysis or data science. Okay. If anything is not clear, please feel free to post the question in the chat. Happy to answer that. So then if we go a little deeper, so we have talked about, the overall project workflow, right? So how that workflow works for, let's say, a predictive model, ML model, which is machine learning model here, right? So you can see that it's almost like similar thing that we have covered in the previous page, but just to extend on the modeling part, when you have the data, right, available with you, what you do first is the cleaning part, the sanity, the validation on the data. After that, you do the EDA, which is exploratory data analysis, which is the analysis step, right? So as I said, a lot of time the data is not in the shape, right? In which you want to use the data. So you need to convert the data into that shape and generate insights on top of the data, the aggregation functions that I talked about, right? Once you have those, then you might have to maybe choose a model. Let's say if you're building a machine learning model, then you have to choose a set of algorithms which can work best for this particular data, right? So let's say, for example, you're doing some fraud detection activity. So where you have to use the input data, there is an output data, and then you predict fraud based on that, right? And then now model goes through basically an iterative process of improvement, right? So first you build the base model, and then you tune the model. Tuning means that making the model better, right? Or optimizing the model for good, right? For accuracy. You improve the accuracy over the a few iteration, and once finally you have the model, you actually share the final version of the model with the customer, right? So that is the process flow or workflow of a machine learning model, okay, of which is like data scientist builds. Okay, so let's talk about now the data science skills. Then what are the skills that are required for you to become a good data scientist, right? So if you look at here, right, so there are a couple of skills, right? Let's focus on the right hand side, the Venn diagrams that you have. So one thing that I received a lot of questions also on this particular thing is that, like, how much maths and stats required to become a data scientist, right? So the answer to that question is that I would say basic to medium level of maths and statistics required, which means, like, what do we mean by that, right? Basic and medium level of skills. So one is the basic to medium level is one, of course, like you need to be good in numbers, right? So let's say if I give you a data set in Excel, how quickly you can, do the analysis on the data. So what kind of analysis? Maybe creating some pivots on the data, maybe creating some charts on the data, maybe finding some basic statistic like, average of the data, median, high value, low value, minimum value, maximum value. So like basic, analysis on the data covers a few things which you should be good at, right? That's first step. That's a level one. Then you extend, your knowledge a little more, where you have to add now start relating your data with the business problem that you got. Like, for example, customer segmentation we were talking about in the beginning, right? So let's say you have a problem of creating some customer segmentation, right? Now you choose certain patterns in the data which can help you to build that customer segmentation. There are few, let's say, high value customers, which means they spend a lot on your platform. Maybe you are an e-commerce company, they spend a lot on your platform. There are customers who do not spend a lot, right? So then can you find out those patterns in the data? That's a level two. So I would say to become a good data scientist, the level one and level two skills are required. Now, in this, process, the level one level skills, both maths and stats are used, right? The now statistics may be initially level one used at the basic level, but maths goes like, so you have to have some knowledge about, let's say, quick reasoning, quick, analytical thinking on the data, and because based on that only, or quick observational skills, which can actually you can use them to generate those insights, right? So that level of maths and statistics is required. Exactly what is needed if you want to go deeper, like further, if you want to double down on that, great learning has, again, so we'll talk about a course which covers that, like what exactly you need, right? So what will be that path is something great learning covers in the course that I'm going to cover in next couple of slides. But that is the level of expectation of the market, to answer the question. Then second part is technical skills, which are very important, right? So which are now technical skills are two types. One, you need to know the tools, certain tools to become a data scientist. The one, the most important is called Python, right? Which is a programming language. Then the second most important is SQL, which is structured query language, right? Which you use for the databases. And then there are a couple of other tools like data visualization. If your work, if your work is more on data visualizing side, reporting side, it's a Tableau or Power BI or Excel, right? Depends what kind of problems you are solving. Um, and then you have like Excel, Microsoft, other like, PowerPoints, other, tools. But primarily it's Python, you can see, SQL, and then visualization tools like Power BI or Tableau, right? Or Excel. These are important tools you need to learn from the tool point of views, right? From the technical side. The other side of technical is algorithms, which is the brain of the analysis, right? So if you're solving machine learning models problems, then you need to know the algorithms which are part of like machine learning, like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, neural networks, depends on again what kind of problem you're solving. But these technical skills you need to know, right? So that's a all like combining both of them, the technical skills and the tools become your technology skills, right? That you need to have to become a data scientist. And then you have like maths and statistics skills, which are elementary like foundational skills that you need to have. And plus on top of it, as you become more experienced, you have to acquire the business skills also, right? Let's say I have been working in the financial services industry for quite a long time, so I believe that, I mean, my profile is more skewed towards financial services. That is my business acumen, which means that I may be able to solve problems better in the financial services world versus some other field, right? Which makes sense, right? So that you build on the top of the as you grow in your career, not in the beginning. So these are the skills that are required to become a data scientist, um, you know, for the data scientist role. Okay, then what are the roles and responsibilities people who are working with the data, right? That's also a very important distinction that we have to be very, very clear, and many times we get confused, right? So on the left hand side, there is a data engineering skills. I talked about the data engineers in the first slide about the databases, right? So like they work on the databases. So what are the data engineers? Data engineers are people who are working on the data infrastructure of a company. What is data infrastructure? Data infrastructure is where the data, like how the data will be, stored, accessed by people. How will you fetch the data? So collecting, storing, and making the data available to the overall organization is the responsibility of data engineers, right? So there can be many ways, many methods to store the data. There can be many ways, many methods to access the data, right? There can be many ways and many methods to collect the data. So these are the responsibilities of data engineers. Data engineers. Who are the people who become data engineers? People who are coming from engineering background, of course, like have been, their education is towards that, or they join, their career or from the beginning, right? In the data field, data engineering field are the people for who belong to data engineers. Then comes the data scientist, folks, which are the people who are responsible for building models, which means they will build predictive models in their work. So whatever projects they are handling, most of the projects, I would say 90% of their projects are actually building models. 10%, of course, like some experimentation, measurement, etc. But that is also you'll be using somewhere, the data science algorithms. The algorithms are the machine learning algorithms like supervised learning, unsupervised learning, neural networks, nowadays Gen AI, right? So based on again, the problem they are solving, the role that you have is something that data scientists folks work on. Then you have business analysts, which is again people who are similar to data scientists, apart from one difference. The difference is that they might not be working on models all the time, right? Which means that their responsibility is not to work only on the models. They focus on overall business problem where they might be working on reporting sometimes, sometime analysis, sometime maybe a simple, a measurement analysis, right? So it's primarily working with the business, to do reporting analysis, analytical, workflows, building those kind of stuff rather than modeling. Modeling can come to them as a project, but most of the time modeling work is done by data scientists because that is their their expertise or forte, right? So that's the difference. So then, but what are the skills required in all the three roles? So data engineers are people who are, again, there's the strong knowledge of databases, APIs, etc. That's their role. That is actually separate, role responsibility. Data scientists and business analysts might overlap in terms of the skill set, right? Again, the tools, Python, SQL, Tableau, all the tools are the same. The good part is in terms of tool perspective, they are the skills are the same, which means both of them have to learn Python, SQL, Excel, Tableau, or Power BI tools. Technical side is slightly different, where data scientists have to learn more on the modeling, machine learning algorithms, versus the business analysts might not have to learn that, but they need to still like have the knowledge of data analysis steps, right? There are few like prescriptive, descriptive analysis that they have to perform. So they should have good knowledge about that. But otherwise, they don't need to learn the ML algorithm specifically. I hope that was clear. So now then, what is changing, right, in this Gen AI, world? Like what is changing, right? So especially what is happening is that there are a couple of things that are happening along with Gen AI, right? So how Gen AI is impacting the data science workflow. One, the coding, right? So data scientists, if I talk about the tools again, Python, SQL, and plus now if I talk about the ML algorithms, so data scientists do a lot of coding in their day-to-day job. That is now being assisted by GenAI. They are using tools like Copilot. They're using tools like Cursor, Replit, other kind of these tools or platforms that have come after the GenAI or enabled by GenAI, which are helping the data scientists to do coding faster, right? So now let's say the coding used to take, or any model building part used to take maybe 4 days, 5 days, 10 days, or 1 month of time. Now it is taking few hours and the model is being built, right? So it depends upon the data complexity and all still, but then building the model, right, once the data is there, is much easier, much faster now, right? Second thing, it's helping in generating insights also. Now, a lot of time, if the patterns are complex, insights are complex, GenAI can help them to generate those insights. So data scientists are taking help of GenAI in generating insights also. Then there are a couple of other things like generating PPTs, or as I said, good visualization on the data can be helped, actually being helped by these tools, right? Copilot and GenAI, especially tools, enable tools. So they are helping the data scientists to do faster delivery of the models. That's on the execution part. There are research side also, right? Where GenAI is also helping data scientists to learn, right? Think about like if you are less confident about an algorithm, you can ask question to GenAI. GenAI can actually help you answer those questions. So it actually overall quality of the delivery has been improved by GenAI. That's how GenAI has been helping data scientists in their day-to-day work, right? So you can see that here the data preparation, data visualization, data transformation is something being helped by GenAI. What is GenAI is something like, I'll cover here, right? So if you look at it on the right-hand side, the diagram, so GenAI has a couple of things or a couple of components are part of GenAI. One, the technology itself, like what is GenAI? GenAI is the full form of GenAI, generative AI, right? Which means that so far we have been, the AI ML space is more like a descriptive, or I would say is more like an optimizing. We have is we have optimizing we have algorithms which optimize the data, right? You find patterns and it's whatever algorithms we have been using are mainly the optimization algorithms, right? You find out the best fit. There is an X and you predict Y, right, using the X variable. That's an optimization problem. GenAI is slightly different. GenAI is more like you're not only optimizing it, you're now generating new stuff, right? So they are the foundation technology are actually the deep learning models, or you can say technology like transformers are there, where you use these model to generate the content that you need. It can be generating anything. It can be generating the data, which is called synthetic data. It can be generating some text. That's basically a GenAI based text. It can generate the code, like again AI based code. So whatever your task is, you can use these technologies to generate the content, right? The second is then how do you generate it, right? There are models available. How do you access those models? So one is we use ChatGPT, right? That every day to day, we use a lot of stuff on, we do a lot of stuff on ChatGPT, right? There are a couple of other models also. Claude is there, Gemini is there, Perplexity is there. There are APIs also available, which means that now in your, when you use, let's say, cloud platform like GCP, AWS, or Azure, these models are available via APIs. You can call these APIs and use these APIs in your workflow. Again, you can send the request, the API sends you the response, you access them in your databases or wherever your environment company, have integrated them, and then you can use them. That's the second piece. The third is that's how you can use these technology. The third is the application of GenAI, like where you use them, right? So I already told about, like, one is that in your workflow, tools like Copilot and others are there, which you can use to, like, which they are assisting data scientists to in a day-to-day work, in a day, in their day-to-day work. But there are areas business which are actually getting transformed using, like, via GenAI. One is customer support. Think about, like, now all the chatbots in the next maybe couple of years will be fully AI based. There'll be no chatbot who will not have the AI. I don't think so. That's one. Marketing content, a lot of marketing, we'll see the images that we see, right? The graphics that we see will be generated by AI. Education and learning content will be generated by AI. We already use a lot of AI in that daily basis. Now think about, like, courses will be launched. A lot of ed tech platform will be using a lot of AI to generate content for that, right? For learning purpose. Business and finance also getting transformed using Gen AI, right? And then how you can build your own model. There are techniques available. Two famous techniques are, like, I mean, you can use your existing model to fine tune them, or RAG. RAG is a retrieval augmented generation that is actually more for factual corrections of the models, right? So that's where you can build or update your model based on your requirements. Okay. So that's on the Gen AI side. I hope this answers this gives the clarification, but anywhere if any further questions are there, please feel free to ask. Okay. So let's now, like, switch gears and talk about the market, today, like how currently the market looks like. So as you can see the graph, it's consistently growing, and I agree with this data also that there'll be more data scientist jobs in the next couple of years, right? So you can see the market is growing by 26% CAGR. That's a year-over-year growth from 2024 to 2030. That's a time period, right? Which means that this is the right time to enter into the market, take this opportunity to become a data scientist, to build stuff with data science. There'll be, in terms of numbers, you can see there'll be by 2026, globally, there'll be like 11.5 million data scientist jobs, right? And you can see here the another data, NASSCOM predicts the data scientists in India will be grown by 300%, which means 3 times more data scientist role will be there between the time period of 2022 to 2030. Okay. So what is the career path, right, of a data scientist? So it depends on where you land on to. I would say that if you have more on like engineering background, then AI engineer and ML engineer are good role for a person. If somebody has a background of analytics, less coding, then they can choose the path of reporting analyst, business analyst, data analyst, manager analytics role. Depends on where you are at a career. If you are good in terms of coding, solving data science problems more, then data scientist, statistician, right? Analytics consultant can also become your path for you. So different roles are there. So you can definitely choose one wherever your inclination is there. Okay. So in terms of the time that you spend, like, what are the roles that are available? Depends upon, like, how where are you in your career, right? So one is of course like when you are at entry level, right? So you become you join as a fresher, or maybe you are a junior analyst, right? So junior data scientist, you'll do a lot of stuff on data analysis. Somebody is there to mentor you, to guide you on, doing projects, so and so forth, right? So then after let's say 2 to 5 years, between like after 2 years and between 2 to 5 years, you become more specialized in terms of like one area, right? Now you are started, you have started talking to customers. There is like mentor involvement is there, but it's less, right? More like you start handling things on your own. The second. The third is the 5 to 10 years. Now you become a specialist here, which means you become independent in a lot of stuff. And then you handle the stakeholders on your own, projects on your own. You can be hands-on. Sometimes people can become manager also in this path, but mostly like you are responsible for end-to-end projects and account responsibility. 10 to plus 15 plus years is the senior leadership role, where you become the head of something in terms of, let's say, product head, data science head, VP, right? So this is the, or director, senior director, depends upon the hierarchy company follows. You become that, and then you do a lot of projects at an organization level, the company level, right? Okay, so this is how the career path, belongs to. For depends upon the time period, the tenure that you have, um, or that you spend. So let's now talk about like great learning. So how great learning can help you achieving that. So we talked about like what is data science. We went, deeper about learning the project workflow of a data scientist. Then we talked about like GenAI, how GenAI is impacting data science workflow, right? And also we talked about like in terms of career, what are the options there? What are the skill set required to become a data scientist? Right? So these things we have covered. Now let's now talk about like how you can achieve all this, how great learning can help you achieving all that, right? So first of all, let's talk about great learning as a platform for you, right? So great learning has been very successful in delivering analytical or data science related courses. That's one. It has partnership across the globe, which means international universities are part of, like our partnership with are in partnership with great learning. You can see Northwestern University, John Hopkins University, Texas School of Business, right? Walsh College, all are in partnership with Great Learning to provide you, the data science and machine learning AI education, right? Across the globe, Great Learning has learners. 12 million plus learners are there, with 170 plus countries, with you can see 400 million of hours of learning hours of content has been shared with people. The rating of the courses are 4.8 out of 5. Total 18,000 plus career transitions have happened. There are 4,000 companies or partners, again with Great Learning, hire from Great Learning, colleges, sorry, the campus or the online, right? So, and there are not only that, there are around 7,600 plus, gurus, the mentors who are in industry and part of, Great Learning community. So that kind of, once you join Great Learning, that kind of access you get to become um, um, a data scientist, right? So, especially talking about this course is about the PGP data science course. So the course has, of course, like always, like whenever there is an update, the course is very dynamic in terms of adopting the new technologies, new techniques, right, algorithms, etc. But especially after GenAI, the course has been modified significantly to include the GenAI applications, right? So, for example, like especially there are modules which are advanced module to learn about Chat GPT, generative AI, the things that I've already spoken, right, in the previous slides, is something that you will go deeper in this uh, in this in this module. The idea is to give you not only an overview but detailed hands-on examples, insights, complex business problem can be solved using Gen AI. The second one is the updated AI and business analytics modules. So then not only the Gen AI content, the existing content has been updated, new problems, right? So in terms of industry, like new problems have come up always, right? So you try to solve them, right? So every time the content gets updated, so you can see that the curriculum contains a lot of problem statements which you solve, which you learn using AI ML, how you can solve them. Then there are not only like theoretical learning, the course is actually focused on a workshop type, delivery, which means that you will have lots of projects, which so the course is 12 months of program overall, and you have 11 plus projects already, right? 60 plus case studies that you do, 22 plus tools that you use to complete those case studies to learn about data science, right? So in terms of the overall like delivery of the program, it's a 12-month program. There are dedicated mentoring sessions that happen on weekends, which means you're part of a group taught by mentors, industry mentors, not only the professors, right? So which is additional learning that you have. And then these mentors actually give you a perspective from industry. Like suppose, let's say if I teach, I'm not only I'll, solve the case study with you guys, but I'll also give you the context, like what I am, how I solve the problem. This problem comes from this domain. So you get a lot of contextual understanding of the problem that you're solving, right? It is actually ranked number one course from the last 5 years. Overall, globally, it has third ranking in business analytics. It is along with the Texas School, University of Texas, you get dual degree. And then plus, you also, not only that, you actually have a peer-to-peer learning, right? As I said, you're part of a group. So you join that group, you learn from each other. Everybody, let's say you're a working professional, you connect with other people, you get a lot of learning, share the knowledge, and solve the problems, and that is very helpful. Like somebody come from different domain, he or she tells you about that domain, how the problems can be solved. In terms of the curriculum details, you can see here. So what are the curriculum? So what is the curriculum here? So if you look at it, like I generally divide this curriculum in three parts. One is that the foundational tools that are required for you to become a data scientist. So what are those foundational tools? You can see that Python for data science is there, which means you get a dedicated module for Python. Then is a dedicated module for introduction to SQL. There is a dedicated module for data visualization using Tableau, right? These are foundational tools available. So Python, SQL, Tableau, separate tools are there. Excel comes as a complementary, right? So these are foundational tools. Then you have foundational techniques, like for example, statistics and maths, right? So statistics is there. Machine learning one also covers the statistics um, module. So it means two dedicated session about the statistics. Then you have machine learning technical skills, machine learning algorithms, right? Machine learning one, machine learning two, neural networks, unsupervised learning, natural language, unsupervised learning, right? These are dedicated modules for you to learn the technical skills to become a data scientist, the algorithms, right? There are four modules there. Plus, then you have a GenAI module, which I talked about. It's a newly added module, right? So these are all learning modules that you have. So you have covered the tools, you've covered the technical skills, you've covered the foundation like statistics in detail, right? Maths is also part of it. Not only that, then hands-on experience, right? So you actually do a lot of like, there is a capstone project here. There is a business analytics module which tells you how to learn, how to apply the business, like, these techniques to a business problem, right? There is a lot of case studies are here. Hackathon, that's the third part of it, which means that there is a, so you not only you're learning theoretically, you're also learning practically. You're applying the stuff on the problems, real world problems, and then gain the knowledge, right? So these are the tools and languages you can see on the screen are covered, right? So this is what the course covers. And you can see here it's perfectly aligned with the market requirements. So if you look at any JD on LinkedIn, let's say, or Naukri, or wherever you're looking for a data scientist JD, it'll be requiring these skill sets only. You can actually match and map. You will see that it's almost like 100%, unless and until there's some business domain skills or that are very specific to the role. Most of them tools and techniques will match, which means that great learning is actually making you ready for the data scientist role from the skills perspective, right? So that you don't have a skill gap, because data scientist as a course, as a skill is a professional skills, right? So you learn a lot of stuff as you start working on. But all the organizations have now some expectations from you once you join. You should have coding skills. That's why they take coding test. You should have statistical knowledge, maths knowledge. That's why they ask you those interview questions. You should have some algorithm knowledge, because whenever the problem comes, you should be able to apply the right algorithm to the right problem, right? You should have those knowledge. That's why these skills are tested before you enter the company. to make you, so grid learning makes you ready for that. This course specially designed to make you ready for to that, and then you move forward. Okay. So that's the end of my part. I would stop sharing, and now we can take up questions from people. I think we are on time, so we're good. We have enough time for question. So there is one question from Yuvraj Agnihotri. He is asking, my current role is incident management. I think, is this possibility, is there a possibility to take a data engineer, analyst, or data scientist to my career option? Would be a good high paying job. So again, first question, to answer first question, yes, it's possible because already you're in the engineering background. So yes, there is a possible transition that can happen. So if you don't have knowledge about data science, yes, it makes sense to learn and then start looking for those roles within the company or outside the company. High paying, yes, it is. Of course, like data scientist role, any role which is in demand will definitely be high paying, right? So I don't know what your current salary is. If you're already at a higher package, how much higher something that you're expecting, that is again a question. But otherwise, data scientist as a role is growing. So you definitely will be in a can you switch? Yes, you can switch. Will it be worth reward switching? Yes, it'll be eventually. So I believe that the role is growing, the salaries are also growing, so it should be good for you if you're asking that question. I hope that answers the question. Um, yeah, that will depend on that's what I asked this question, right? So 20 lakhs and above, it depends upon where you are at currently. So of course, data scientists are earning much higher than 20 lakhs, but it depends upon company to company, the experience you have, the role you have. But once you start, will you be reaching if you keep upskilling yourself? Absolutely, yes. Okay. The second, somebody asked which book is good. So there are lots of books. I would say that books, lots of, I would say, follow the blogs or videos and content, and especially like there are lots of things available. It's always better to be on a strict path, which is let's say great learning, providing you to learn about Python. That should be more than enough, and then go deeper there, double down on that, rather than reading a book and then it'll actually, I don't know. So like you can think about, there are lots of books available, like automatic stuff with Python is one of the book, but I don't know how much it will be helpful. So I would recommend rather like going via this strict path following journey. That will be helpful for you, like rather than going through the book. You should read about more blogs. Especially solving problem is more important than reading a book and then learning Python. Okay, I am a third year student B Tech in my data science. Yes, it is easy to, when I say easy, means like BTech is, yes, if you're a BTech, you can enter as a data scientist for sure. Then there is a possibility you can move to data scientist role. There are lots of companies who hire for fresher roles. Every time the fresher roles come, companies are hiring. So yeah, a lot of companies hire. Again, that's where, right? So for placement side is something like great learning can also help you. Primarily what you do is the idea is that you complete the course, you become eligible, and then because it requires certain eligibility, right? So become a data scientist, you need to be eligible for the role. And how can you be eligible? You can be eligible by completing this, let's say, certification that you're doing, right? Because some kind of knowledge, as I said, the company will test you for Python, SQL, Tableau, Power BI roles, Power BI tools, and then algorithms also, right? That you learn from there. So that's something you need to learn, and then let's say, and then you get a certification, then enter the for the data scientist role. Okay. There's another question. The open is asking, I have been in sales and marketing industry as in a leadership role. One minute. Currently in high band salary package, how can I leverage the data science program in my future role and boost my career path? See, there are leadership roles also like in data science, right? So look for leadership roles and you can make a move. You're already in sales and marketing. I hope you're working with analytics teams already. Like you can make a lateral move there, right? So you learn those skills and make a lateral move to the career, to the data scientist role or data science world. So you need to talk to within your company someone, right? Or let's say after getting the certification, you can start applying from the market side as well and then see how the traction is for you. Okay. But there are leadership positions available. Is DSA required for? No. So DSA is not required, but you should be good in programming in general. So how you can learn programming? Yes, Lead Code or HackerRank could be one of the tools that you can use for Python, especially, right? But you don't have to be, again, like DSA is more on the engineering side than your um, data science side. But there can be few companies which might ask about data science architecture, but that something is not like every company is looking for. So if you are already studied about that, is good to have that knowledge. Otherwise, specifically to become a data scientist, that knowledge is not required. I hope that answers the question.
Hi, Aniket. We'll just wait for a couple of more minutes if we get in any questions, and then we can wrap
Yeah,
up the session.
sure.
Aniket, there's one question around the fees, so I'll just
Yeah.
take that up. For those asking about the fee structure and the timings, so the fees for this program is 1.95 plus GST, 1,95,000. And we have EMI plans in place. If you want to know more about that, our team can help you with it and get in touch with you and let you know. We also have a scholarship running. So if you fill in the form, and today till 10 p.m. we are giving a scholarship of up to 25,000. About the timing, since this is an online program, you can take up at least the recorded lectures at your own pace, and during the weekends we have live classes which will be according to the batch. So whatever works out for the entire batch, that's how we take it up. So if you have further questions and want to know more about it, I would suggest that you fill our form and get your queries answered.
Yeah. There is one more question. How long can it take to get an entry level job? See, this is very relative to the market. So, um, when you say you start now means enrolling the course, and then after completing the course, you can start applying after seventh month onwards, right? After this, let's say course. And then there are multiple ways to apply, right? So one is via Great Learning, you can apply via um, um, outside via LinkedIn or via Naukri, you can apply, or whichever platform that you're using, you can apply. So it depends only on the timing. So there are lots of jobs about data science. You can look at the LinkedIn currently, right? Lots of jobs are there for data scientists. Companies are looking for right candidates for them. So I will not be able to tell you exactly like how much time it will take, but yes, of course, you are eligible to apply after 6 months. And generally, like an interview process in a company takes 1 month max, to get you, let's say, the offer. So if, and the moment you start the interview and the last interview will be within 1 month time period. You get preparation time also. So I think that is the time I would say that is required to become a data scientist or start first job. Okay. I hope that answers the question. Any other questions?
Hey, Aniket, I think we've answered all of the questions here.
Yep.
So I think we can wrap up and give a
Okay.
few minutes back.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, thank you, Aniket. Thank you for taking the
Thank you,
session, and
everyone. Bye. All the
thank you,
best.
everyone. For everyone who's still on the call, we will be keeping this webinar live for a few minutes. If you have any queries, you can fill in the form and our team will get in touch with you. Thank you once again for attending our session.